Hey guys, welcome back to class number 3 of the Effortless Spanish mini course. So today I wanted to talk about why do we forget? Why is it that when we're learning a language, we just seem to forget all of the words? Why does that happen? And so there's a lot of teachers and a lot of schools that are not addressing the big elephant in the room. And the big elephant in the room is that we forget most of what we learn within 48 hours. That means that if I teach you some Spanish words, it means that a week from now, you're going to forget most of it. And so no one is talking about this when they're teaching languages, right? What are we going to do about our nature to forget things? So, and more importantly, we need to understand why does this happen and what are we going to do about it? So in the next few classes, this is what I want to address. Why do we forget? Because it doesn't serve us to study Spanish if we're just going to forget these words. So I wanted to talk about in this video the secret to memory so that you stop forgetting these words. So what is the secret to memory? Well, the secret to memory is not in memory, but is in your ability to construct pictures. So that means that if I give you a new word in Spanish, you don't want to leave it up to chance. You want to be able to take that word and you want to be able to transform it into an image or a movie, because if you don't, you're going to forget it. So we don't want to leave anything to chance. That's why today with Lisa, I'm going to practice with you a wonderful memory technique so that you're able to learn Spanish faster. So Lisa, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so we're going to start with something that you're very familiar with because this is another memory technique. Your brain loves learning things that are familiar to it. So we're going to use this technique with English words so that you see how it works. So I'm going to teach you some new English words that you've probably never heard of before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but let's try it, okay? And I'm going to break down my process of creating images in my mind so that I don't forget the words that I'm learning. So we're not going to try it with Spanish right now. We want to try it with English so that you really see how it works, okay?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, have you ever heard of the word mitigate as an example?
Not really. No.
Not really? Okay, fantastic. That's great. I'm trying to think of words that are, not very common. So, you have no idea what it means. Fantastic. Okay. So, this is the process if you want to memorize this word. The first thing that you want to do, mitigate, by the way, it means to lessen the severity of something, to lessen the pain of something. That's what it means. Okay, so how are we going to turn this into an image? So actually, the secret is that we have to turn it into small little images that we're going to string together. I know it sounds complicated. It's not. So let me show you how it works. So I want to break down the word mitigate. So to you, what does the first part of the word sound like to you? Mitt. Just mitt.
Like
right?
a hand mitt.
Right, like a hand mitt, exactly. And so, for the game of baseball, right? So they have these mitts. So that's a great association. Let's go with that one, right? So that's the first image that we have for the sound of the beginning of the word. We usually have to create 2 or 3 images. Okay, so we have mitt, okay? So the next word is gate. So what does gate sound like to you? A gate, right? Exactly. Okay, so now we have 2 images for the word. We have a mitt over here, a glove, and then we have a gate over here. That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing about this technique is that you need an image for the definition, or else it's not going to work. You're going to see the images and you're not going to remember what it means. So you have a mitt here and you have a gate. So because this word means to mitigate, to lessen the pain of something, you have to imagine a third image, okay, that has to do with the definition of the word. So look at my crazy image just to show you how crazy I am, right? So I imagine the gate is falling on people, right? So everyone's like, everyone's like falling on the gate and stuff, right? And the glove is like trying to hold it because it's trying to lessen the pain of all those people getting crushed on the gate.
Okay.
So that means mitigate. Mitigate. So those are the trigger words. Now, I know some of you are thinking, oh my God, I have to, I'm going to see this crazy image every time I see the word. Yes, at the beginning you will, but as you continue learning Spanish, those images are going to disappear. Okay, and we're going to practice with some Spanish words too. This technique is so cool. So there you have it, mitigate, right? You're not going to forget that. You have the mit, the gate. The gate is crushing a whole bunch of people. And the mit, you can imagine it, you want to exaggerate it. You want to exaggerate all the images, make them fantastic, make them funny, make them scary. And so I imagine a giant mitt like lifting up the entire gate. You see how that works?
Yeah.
All right, so now let's try another word, okay? So have you ever heard of the word extol in English?
Extol?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay, good. Another word. Awesome. Okay, so extol, hopefully you haven't heard the word either. Extol means to praise. So you're thinking, oh my God, how am I going to remember that? You know the process. You take the word and you have to chop it up. You have to break it down into 2 simple images, sometimes 3 images, depending on the word. So let's do it again, okay? So, extol. What does the first part of the word sound like to you? X.
X.
X, right? So, right, just like the X, okay? It could be that, yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like eggs, okay?
Oh.
So it could be whatever it sounds like to you. Your associations are going to work best for you. So let's use mine for now with the eggs. Okay? X, eggs, all right? So I have the eggs here. That's the first image. What's the next step? We have to hear the rest of the word. So you have toll.
Toll.
Right? That's what it sounds like. The toll, when you go through the car and you have to pay for
Toll bridge.
Exactly. That's the second image. So I have the eggs here, the toll here, and now we have to combine it because very important. You also need the final image of the definition of the word, okay? So what does it mean again? To praise. So what kind of story can we come up with that's involving eggs and toll? What crazy story. So if I were coming up with the story, I imagine that I'm driving through this toll, right? And instead of paying with money, I pay with eggs. And the people go, oh my God, you paid us with eggs. Thank you. People give us money. We don't want money. We want eggs. So now when I hear extol, I'm not going to forget it because I have these crazy images in my head. You see what I mean?
And funny enough, they work.
Yes, they work. And so this is the memory technique called word substitution. Okay? So now let's try it with a Spanish word. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, let's try, for example, saber. Okay? Saber.
Saber.
How are we going to remember this word, saber? Well, what is the first step?
Break it down.
Break it down. So to me, saber, if I break it down, the first part, sa, what does that sound like to you? Sa. You usually have to add like a letter or something to find some English word.
Saw.
Saw, good. Very good. So let's use that. Saw, right? So it's like the cutting the saw. And then bear. What is
Bear.
A bear. Okay. So we're going to saw a bear in half. Actually, that's perfect. Okay. Yes.
Oh, dear.
The more violent the images, the better it's going to help you to remember it, unfortunately. But that's how it works. Okay. So we have 2 images. What's the first image? A saw. And then the second image?
The bear.
The bear. Now, is that enough for us to remember the word?
What does it mean?
Right. We need a third image. What does it mean? So saber means to know. Okay?
No.
So you can only imagine the crazy image that I'm going to make. I imagine that I have a saw and I'm cutting the bear in half, and in his guts he has like some type of knowledge or message
No.
that helps me to know. So I, take it out of his guts and I'm like, I know the answer now. It was inside this bear. Okay, so there you go. Saber. There you have the word. All right.
How are you going to forget that one?
Exactly. So there you have it. Extol. So what does extol means again? Oh, you pay me with eggs? What does extol mean?
To praise.
To praise. Exactly. Mitigate. It's like catching the gate. What is
to lessen the pain.
the lessen the pain of something? Saber. What does saber mean in Spanish?
To know.
To know. Now, this is a great technique. This is a fascinating technique. However, when it comes to learning Spanish, the technique by itself will not be enough. Why? Because once you're creating all these crazy images, remember Al Capone and all these other crazy images, you need a place to store them. You see, this is a 3-step process. A lot of people don't really know how difficult it is to grab something, to learn a Spanish word, get that word to stick in your brain, and then to regurgitate it out. That 3-step process, most people have no clue how horrible they are at doing that. Schools, teachers, they leave it up to chance. Hey, here, go study those words. Study? What does study even mean? How do we go about it? You know what I mean? So the way that we study is that we have to create these images, okay? Now, yes, this does take a little bit of practice, a little bit of creativity. I was horrible in the beginning creating images. I was like, I heard a word and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna think? That's normal. But because I'm a memory trainer, we want to train your brain muscles, okay? And once you train your brain muscles and you stretch them out, you stretch your creativity muscles, you're gonna do these words in a heartbeat. Like if you throw a word at me, and you know I do this, right?
Yeah.
Very quickly, you shoot me 20 words, I'm gonna create an image for all those foreign words, one after the other, quickly.
So
okay.
true.
Now don't feel bad if it takes you a couple of minutes per word, because what you want to gain is the skill to be able to think in this way. And with enough practice, you will get faster at creating those images. But as I said before, the next thing that I want to teach you is to take all of those images and we need a place to store them. There's a systematic, elegant way to organize thousands of words in Spanish. And that's what I want to teach you. So the next technique that I want to show you is called memory spaces. Okay, so on the next class, okay, we're going to go into a bit of history because this is an ancient technique. Okay, so in the next class, I'm going to talk to you all about memory spaces. And then we're going to practice here how they work, and I think it's going to blow your mind. Once you learn this stuff, you're not going to want to learn Spanish any other way.
Exactly.
Once you know the filing system to we're gonna do a little surgery to your brain. We need to upgrade your brain so that it has these compartments to store a lot of information. That's what we're going to do. I'm so excited. So check out the next class. And by the way, if you love these techniques, there's dozens of more of techniques just like this that I share in my Effortless Spanish program. So in my program, I share dozens of memory techniques to help you learn Spanish faster. Also, if you love this unconventional way of learning Spanish, you can also check out my new book, Memory Mysteries. This book has a lot of chapters that are filled with memory techniques to help you learn to speak Spanish faster. And yeah, that's it. Check out the next class, and I'll talk to you soon.